So check this out. I was reading an article recently that stated the global market for freight trucking was estimated at $2.2 trillion in 2022, and the US market alone was estimated at $532 billion. So I think it's safe to say that there's a ton of money in the trucking industry. But today I want to talk about the impact of content creators, YouTubers, influencers, whatever title you want to give us, it all applies. What type of impact have we had on the trucking industry? Now, the trucking industry can be broke down in so many different categories, right? It's not just, one category of trucking. There are so many different things you could do in the trucking space. But today, I really want to talk about specifically from a company perspective, what type of influence have we had on the trucking industry? Have we killed the trucking industry? Because let's be honest, as a YouTuber, we do have influence. I feel like the people who are putting out content, at least the majority of people that are putting out content from a company driver's perspective, are really having a positive impact on the trucking industry. And here's how. YouTube gives people who have interest in the trucking industry, even a specific job in the trucking industry, YouTube gives that person the ability to see through the content creator's eyes what it's like to do that particular job. So in that regard, I definitely feel like YouTubers have had a positive impact in the trucking industry. It also allows that company to get a certain level of exposure through the lens of that creator, right? For example, I use myself. I work for a company called Gordon Food Service. Many of you that have followed my channel, you guys already know that. But that puts more eyes on Gordon Food Service. So if you have interest in getting into the food service industry, now you get to see a glimpse of what it's like to be a food service driver for Gordon Food Service. But at the end of the day, it's all about that individual when it comes down to their decision on whether or not they want to work for this company or do that type of job, whatever it is. Do I think YouTubers kill the trucking industry? Absolutely not. The trucking industry is huge, but I do think YouTubers definitely play a part in people's decisions on whether or not they want to enter the trucking industry in whatever capacity that is, whatever lane of trucking that is. I mean, let's be honest, people come on YouTube to get information or to be entertained or, all the above. So, if I want to learn about a particular job, if I want to learn how to do something around the house, I'm going to come on YouTube and search it and figure out how to do it. And it's the same thing for just your average viewer. They want to learn how to become an owner operator, right? What are you going to do? You're going to go on YouTube, search it, and you're going to see who's talking about how to become an owner operator. And you're going to get that information from that influencer. Now, I will say this. There are some content creators out there that may put out misinformation, and that can lead people in the wrong direction. That's why it's so important to do your own due diligence and to do your own research and try your best to vet the people that you're getting information from. It's like going to the doctor, right? If you get a certain diagnosis on an illness, if it's really bad, right? If it's terminal, you probably want to get more than one opinion just to be on the safe side. So it's the same thing with getting into trucking, right? If you want to become an owner operator and you see somebody telling you how to do this way, I think, it's probably a good idea to get multiple opinions. You definitely want to look at the people who are having success in that field and then, put it all together and draw your own conclusions. But, don't just go off what the first person tells you. You got to talk to multiple people out there and then use your own discernment and figure out what is the right direction to go in. I feel like YouTubers in general have had a very positive impact on the trucking industry. I mean, when you look at the diversity in the trucking community, it's more diverse now in 2023 than it has been in the last 2-3 decades. And I think in large part that's because of social media, right? There wasn't any, Instagram, TikTok, all that type of stuff going on. So now these different platforms, you're able to get more exposure to what's going on in the trucking industry. A lot of people that are in the trucking industry are even making it look cool, right? It's kind of trendy to a certain degree. And so, it becomes appealing to a lot of people when they see these different people of all ages, especially in the younger generation, 20s, 30s. I mean, even when you look at the gender, right? You see more females in trucking now in 2023 than ever before. Younger females are in trucking. And you really have to attribute that to YouTubers, content creators, just recording their journeys, documenting their journeys, putting it out there for the public, for the world to see. And it's attractive to a lot of people. When a person sees someone that looks like them in the trucking industry, now it's like, okay, I think I can do that. Or that looks cool. I never really thought about getting into trucking, but I see this person is doing it. They seem to be, enjoying what they do and having success at it. Let me try it. In trucking, there's a very low barrier to entry. So for the average person that you may not want to go to college, but you want to make six figures, or you want to make, $90,000 a year, $80,000 a year or more, you can do that in the trucking industry and not have to spend a lot of money in tuition to do it, right? And so the amount of money that you invest in yourself to get a CDL and to get a salary that's paying you, 70, 80, 90 on up to six figures, I think that's a pretty good investment in yourself. And the CDL, is something that you can fall back on. If you do decide to get out of trucking and pursue some other career path, you can always have that CDL to fall back on, and you can pretty much move anywhere in the world and find a trucking job. And so, I think it's a very good skill to have under your belt. YouTubers have made it possible for people that may have never been interested in the trucking industry to now get a chance to see what it's like to be a truck driver in different capacities. The trucking industry is very broad. There are so many different things that you can do within the industry. If you're looking for a trucking job, chances are you have a YouTuber out there that's creating content about that trucking job. Now, not every trucking job is on YouTube, and in large part the reason for that is some companies don't allow people to record videos and things of that nature about the company. So some companies have very strict policies as it relates to recording content. So you may not find every job on YouTube, but there are a lot of jobs out there that the average person can get on YouTube and find because of the YouTuber. Now, again, that's coming from the company driver perspective. Now, when you talk about owner operators, whether it be box trucking, whether it be, someone who owns a semi tractor trailer, 53 footer, a lease owner operator, some of those guys would probably argue that YouTubers have made it very difficult for people to make money, right? Because of all the information that's put out there, you kind of taking food away from other people's pockets. A lot of them would have that argument and say, well, you guys are hurting my pockets by putting out all this information. Now everybody is doing the same thing, and all that's doing is saturating the market. Now you have all of these people in this space, and it's causing the rates to come down because shippers know that, well, I can put this load up for this amount of money and somebody is going to take it. People who are new to the game that may not have as much experience, they're taking these low paying loads just to say, well, I got a load. But when you do the math, It really doesn't make sense. However, they're new, so they just taking whatever they can get. And if a shipper knows that, hey, I could just put this out there for this rate, somebody's gonna pick it up. Why not put it out there? I've seen people in the comment section say, man, y'all giving out too much information, right? Speaking of, owner operators, y'all giving out too much information. Hey, that could be true in some cases. And that's why some of these content creators have courses that they sell. Look, me personally, I don't have a problem with people selling courses. I don't think there's anything wrong with paying for information. When you go to college, you got to pay tuition to get an education. It's the same thing. You're ultimately investing in yourself. The only problem I have is if you're paying for information that's not valid. If you're paying for information that's actually misinformation, then that's a problem. But if you're paying for solid information, valuable information, correct instruction about a specific job, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I feel like if whoever that content creator is created a course, get your money. I don't have any problem with that. But again, to go back to the original question, do I think YouTubers kill trucking? Absolutely not. If anything, I think YouTubers have brought more eyes in the trucking industry. We have bought more exposure on certain jobs within the trucking industry. And we have ultimately bought more people in the trucking industry and have had a positive impact overall. And I know that that's the case for a lot of content creators out there. And the confirmation is when you get those messages from viewers, when you get those messages from some of your supporters and they say, hey, I got my CDL because of you. Hey, I started doing this job because of you, and I was able to buy a house because of getting into this industry, right? I get those messages all the time, and I know other content creators do as well. So yeah, you're gonna get some haters out there. Yeah, you're gonna get some critics out there. But overall, the amount of positive feedback you get from supporters outweighs the criticism by a landslide. It's not even close. So those are the people who I like to speak to. When you look at the amount of people who you've helped in this industry, when you look at the positive impact that you've had within this industry, whatever you're doing in this trucking space, I think that's what you really need to concentrate on, and that's what you need to continue to do while you have this platform. I think being on this platform is a blessing, and to be able to have this sort of an impact on so many people, on so many strangers, it's an amazing feeling. And so I love doing what I do. I love getting behind this camera and being able to share a part of my life with you guys, and to see it having such a positive impact, that brings me so much satisfaction. So those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comments, do you believe YouTubers kill trucking? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. And to the next video, I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all take care. Peace.